Alright, so spoilers, but I don't think 2023 was a great year. You can tell by this double chin that has just refused to go away. But to end the year on a bit of a fun note, let's talk about snow.
The Canadian rapper, best known for his 1992 hit Informer, which spent 7 consecutive weeks in #1, unfortunately couldn't keep the momentum going.
I kid. We're talking about these.
So last year, me and my mom went to a flea market and found both these films for about 50 cents.
I swear, I need to go to more flea markets. I could keep the show going for the next 10 years.
But anyway, we'll be looking at both of these today because I feel I haven't put out enough stuff this year. Released in 2004, Snow aired on ABC Family, now known as Freeform, as part of their 25 Days of Christmas block. Directed by Alex Zam, who also did another film I've talked about, The Haunting Hour, Don't Think About It, as well as some Disney Channel movies such as My Date with the President's Daughter and the recent Under Wraps movies, as well as that awful Woody Woodpecker flick.
Has he done anything Christmas related? Oh, we're in great hands!
Well, the writer is Rich Burns, who's written some episodes of She-Ra and the Princess of Power and Spirit Riding Free, which seem fine, but what other movies has he done?
Oh shit!
Well, I guess it was enough of a hit, it got a sequel.
Well, let's see. This is Snow. Why do I have the feeling I'm about to watch a movie made by a cult?
So we begin in California with the most depressing looking Santa I've ever seen, and meet Sandy Brooks, played by Ashley Williams. I haven't seen her in much. Apparently she was on the Jim Gaffigan Show and Good Morning Miami, and had a recurring role on How I Met Your Mother. She picks up the Charlie Brown tree and then heads back to her home, which is at a boarding house owned by this woman named Lorna, who somehow managed to wrap herself in Christmas lights? How does that even happen?
I'll keep her off the ladder.
You'll keep your hands to yourself is what you'll do.
What? I never even touched you.
Maybe so, but you've lusted for me in your heart.
Oh, madam.
Sandy is also friends with a young boy named Hector, played by Bobby J. Thompson. And if he looks familiar, you may know him better as Stanley from That's So Raven. And just like him, he also has a thing for older women.
See, I noticed the seats don't recline in this thing. Don't it get kind of hard to, make out in here?
Man, this kid got typecast.
I'd make fun of him, but he has a six-pack now, and he might actually see this video and find out where I live and come hurt me. So, Mr. Thompson, your performance was great.
There are so many goddamn fades in this one scene, like, geez, editor, calm the hell down. I know who killed me didn't abuse the fades this much. We then transport to the CG North Pole, where we meet Nick Snowden, played by Tom Cavanaugh, who you may have seen pop up on Scrubs and apparently had a main role on The Flash. Anyway, he's Santa Claus, getting ready for his first solo run as his father passed away. But one of the reindeer, named Buddy, has escaped. Then, for some reason, the outside goes blue as we see Buddy get tranked by a hunter.
Gotcha.
Howard Hamlin from Better Call Saul, what are you doing here?
More fades as we see a zoo, which Sandy works at, and you can tell she likes it by the almost unhuman smile she has. Like, seriously, it looks like she's about ready to start knifing people.
Hi! Okay.
To be fair, this woman is adorably charming. Like I said, I haven't seen Ashley Williams in much, but she is very likable in this. Anyway, turns out that hunter we saw is named Buck Seeger, who apparently sold the reindeer to the zoo.
You transported that thing from the North Pole to California?
Well, you can run, but you can't hide.
Well, I'm already creeped out.
After the zoo closes,
Well, that happened.
turns out it's Nick, but that's not as important as this.
Hey, they're beautiful.
Movie. I already hate this guy. No need to hammer it in.
So we get some dialogue that hints that Buck bringing the reindeer here might not be entirely legal, as she continuously shoots down his advances. They see Nick break into the reindeer paddock as he spends valuable time ranting to Buddy.
Wandering off like that, and less than a week before Christmas, when you're supposed to be learning to fly, I might add.
They try to capture him, but he manages to escape. Then the scene just ends. Nick does return the next day.
Can't bring the reindeer to the mirror. Gotta bring the mirror
to the reindeer.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he'll fit through that. He then crashes a golf cart in the water.
Hold on! You can't park that there!
That was a joke, I guess.
Seriously, Buck is unnecessarily creepy. And it turns out he's under command of another man who, oh Jesus. Wow, can't tell this is the bad guy. But if you're not convinced yet, he even does the evil laugh. Nick, realizing he needs the keys from Sandy to get Buddy out, follows her home. That sounded a little creepier saying it out loud. By the way, the woman playing Lorna is Jackie Burroughs, who was Constance Pennington in Bailey's Billions.
How have I now mentioned that movie twice in the 3 months since I reviewed it?
This is a lovely painting of Paris.
Thanks. Have you ever been?
Yeah, I try and go once a year.
Okay, I know that's a Santa joke, but we've already established this is his first year delivering presents.
Nick rents a room, and I almost forgot that Sandy is a female lead in a romantic comedy, so she needs to be a little clumsy.
Call me back that one.
We get some more weird moments with Hector.
Truth is, Sandy's a little old for me. I'll step aside and give you a shot. But it'll cost you.
How so?
I got this catalog here, and I've been wanting to get something for my mom, since she does work hard during this time of year.
Now I was thinking something from the lingerie section.
Nick and Sandy finally meet in person, and the two have decent chemistry, I guess, in that awkward rom-com way. Certainly better than this one between Lorna and one of the boarders named Chester, played by Leslie Carson, who's also appeared in some other Christmas classics.
For 20 years, I've tried to get that woman to give me the time of day.
Well then, I think it's time to give up. Hey Buck, this is your future if you keep this up. Nick goes to the zoo where he nearly exposes himself.
Lady, where do I get the animals from?
Great question, Richie.
Sandy then brings him into the reindeer pen, which I think bringing a guest into the animal cage would get her fired. Oh my god, this guy is creepy. Sandy, maybe you should ask for a restraining order for Christmas.
Oh, I can't believe it. Oh, I'd never burned a turkey.
Lorna, isn't this a ham?
Well, she shouldn't be allowed near a stove.
So anyway, what about this new tenant?
Oh, I don't know. I never ask for applications. People lie on applications, and their references lie for them. I go by my instincts.
Wow. How have you not died yet?
Well, due to Nick's incompetence, Hector finds out he's Santa Claus and explains the situation. And now he wants to help. Nick helps Sandy put some Christmas ornaments in the attic as she admires his butt. Anyway, let's get some of that romantic dialogue going.
Oh, Canada. So you must be a huge fan of NAFTA.
Are we all?
Well, turns out her parents passed away, and because of it, she doesn't do much in terms of holiday decorations since it reminds her of them. And again, Williams and Kavanaugh are pretty good here. It gets a little creepy when he sneaks into her room, watches her sleep, and then steals her keys.
Really creepy.
Through a recording that wouldn't fool anyone except an idiot, they fool this idiot to leave the reindeer pen so they can sneak in and grab Buddy. But unfortunately, there are a bunch of kids waiting to see Santa, who is a no-show.
Well, at least we've got the suit. No, it took me weeks to guilt somebody into wearing it in the first place.
It took weeks to convince someone to dress as Santa for children? Is everyone who works here an asshole?
The guys sneak Buddy out using, oh my god, who would make a suit out of that?
We'd like a picture with your friend.
Why? Do you want to scar your grandchildren? This is gonna turn out like those creepy Easter Bunny photos.
Spoilers, they lose the reindeer, but Nick does agree to play Santa for the kids.
We want a story! Yeah, we want a story!
What kind of Santa meetup forces Santa to make up a story off the top of his head? Well, he manages to do it by, well, just telling them his life story, or at least his ancestors. It does give its own spin on the Santa mythology, which is nice. Although at one point he pulls his beard down, thus ruining the illusion for the kids. Not that they seem to care. I love this kid in the football jersey, he is so into it. Turns out Buddy is now able to jump high, which is one step before flying.
What if we start flying before you could get him out? What if people see?
You can talk to him. Tell him not to fly.
So this grown man forcibly pulls a young boy into a locker room.
Yeah!
Take take that how you will.
But instead goes back to the house, uses all her packed away decorations to brighten it, and of course since they were all her mother's decorations and he didn't ask permission, she gets angry. Thankfully she gets over it thanks to the fades. Yep, go through her personal belongings, totally excusable because it's Christmas. But again, still better than Buck, who is spying on them with night vision goggles. Oh my god, man, you're insane! So Nick tries to butter her up by cooking Christmas dinner.
Dude, just tell her you have very limited time.
Buck then punches Nick in the gut. Okay, so this guy's just a cartoon. He even sneaks up on Sandy in the locker room.
I think that he was the guy in the reindeer pen.
Buck, just stop.
The way he looked at you, the way he cozied up to you last night.
You were spying on me?
Call the police. Or your boss, or someone. Even if they don't do anything, at least try.
We need some padding though, so just before Christmas dinner, the rest of the reindeer show up. Somehow. And we get some shenanigans with him trying to hide them. It's a little funny, but it still feels pointless.
Why don't you go back on out and have some warm nuts and cider?
That almost sounds like a euphemism.
Well, that gets resolved and dinner goes off without a hitch. Buck and that security guard find out Buddy can fly.
Just, make sure you don't call anybody else.
That's what, like $250? You're covering up flying reindeer, possibly losing your job for $250?
Nick tries to finally tell Sandy, but she finds out Buddy is missing, and they corner the easily bribed security guard.
Buck said that we could make a fortune selling the right to hunt him.
The right to hunt them? Dude should be selling them to any zoo in the world. Or the military. You could make millions.
Absolutely. Look at him. He's chomping at the bit to get out.
20,000, it's a little sweet.
$20,000. You're giving up a flying reindeer for $20,000. You're not just a creep, you're an idiot.
Nick and Sandy try to save Buddy, but Buck corners them, and Nick decides to kill two birds with one stone by escaping through a magic mirror as they go to the North Pole. And you know, I said Ashley Williams gave a pretty good performance through most of the movie, and I meant it, but she has a very subdued reaction to finding out magic and Santa Claus are real. Back with Buck.
You want to go for a ride?
Well, what did you think was gonna happen, dumbass?
Alright, this is something I never got with modern Christmas movies. Santa's always making toys like kids in the 30s, 40s, and 50s played with, but this is set in 2004. Most kids would want a Nintendo DS, not a Nutcracker. News of the high-jumping reindeer is spreading across the town, so our heroes get Hector's mom to drive them, but she's not going fast enough, so they show her.
Oh no, oh, that's snow coming out of that thing. Let's not just sit here looking at each other, people. We got Christmas to say.
Okay, that was actually really funny.
Buck finds them and we get a chase scene, which is pretty fun. Absolutely everyone should be going to jail, but still, they end up at a drawbridge with the heroes on one side and Buck and Buddy on the other. So there's only one thing to do. No, he makes it and Buck tranks himself. How the hell did he trank himself? So Nick heads back to the North Pole, absolutely no one is arrested, but we get this cute scene between Hector and his mom.
It's not jewelry, but I hope you like it.
Oh, baby, come here. Come here.
Aww. Also, that Chester guy finally gets a date with Lorna, so I guess 20 years of pestering is finally paid off.
Well, then I can die a happy man.
He then died 2 hours later.
Nick leaves Sandy a doll and she agrees to come with him to the North Pole.
That's nice, isn't that nice?
Nick, you doll.
You're getting coal next year, kid. So that was Snow, a movie with barely any snow in it. It's fine.
It has its dumb moments, some filler, and a few times where Nick can be a little creepy, but it mostly gets by with some likable actors and a simple little romance story. It has a lot of Christmas imagery, music, and while not always well written, it's just passable enough for the 50 cents it cost.
And now we can talk about Snow 2, Brain Freeze.
Released 4 years later in 2008, Snow 2 also aired as part of ABC Family's 25 Days of Christmas, and Kavanaugh, Williams, and Fabian all reprised their roles as Nick, Sandy, and Buck respectively. Rich Burns returns to write, but directing duties are taken over by Mark Rosman, who directed several episodes of Even Stevens and Lizzie McGuire, as well as A Cinderella Story, and previously reviewed Hilary Duff vehicle The Perfect Man.
Oh great, maybe everyone will be a psychopath in this too. This is Snow 2 Brain Freeze.
So at the North Pole, Sandy, who still has that smile hardwired to her face, is setting up for Christmas dinner. It's not Christmas yet, but because Nick's obviously going to be busy on that day, they're celebrating a little early.
Hey, Nick. I have something really wonderful I wanted to tell you.
She's pregnant. Guess that real quick?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a surprise at the end, but I guessed it in the first 2 minutes. Nick, however, is training the reindeer in a really awkwardly shot scene that tries way too hard to hide the reindeer until it's revealed that they're actually dogs. Seems the reindeer just aren't flying, and even worse, he can't get the harness on them because they've gained weight. So he goes to a gym called Jim, where we get some awkward comedy.
3 days?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it's possible to lose a few pounds.
A few pounds. Not just a few pounds. More like 50.
Yeah, they've gained weight. This is something I really want to watch at the end of this year.
So yeah, our first big conflict in the movie is that the reindeer are too fat. Well, maybe if you didn't let them eat the human food, that wouldn't be a problem.
With everything there was to do, buddy, Nick's parents always seem to find time for each other at Christmas.
Oh, are we really doing this? Oh my god. He's Santa. He goes out 1 day a year. I think he gets a pass.
So after trying to get the reindeer to work out on a treadmill because jokes, Nick blames Sandy for overfeeding them, and so less than 10 minutes in, our main couple are already arguing. Great, so after watching them get together in the first movie, we spend the very beginning of the next film watching them fight.
I put extra egg in the nog, and doesn't Santa get to have a Christmas too?
Hey, why don't you have your Christmas on December 26th?
No. I mean, it's my second Christmas. I got big boots to fill and...
Second Christmas? It's only been a year and you're already fighting like this? Are you even married?
She wants to tell him something but can't get it out. Again, pregnant. Stop trying to make it a surprise. They fight some more and Nick storms off through the mirror, for some reason going to some random garage owned by this woman named Caitlin, whose father Henry, played by Hal Williams, is staying with her.
Entry skills.
No, they find him and call 911, taking him to the hospital.
For this, I went to journalism school, digging up some sappy Christmas angle at the local hospital. Could be worse. Could be back in studio, tracking Santa's sleigh on radar.
What is up with the mean-spirited tone in this?
Do you know what today is?
No.
Do you know your name?
My name... No.
Are you fucking serious? Amnesia. We're doing the amnesia thing.
This was 2008. Didn't we all agree amnesia should never be used a year earlier when Spider-Man 3 did it? They end up chasing him through the hospital, but they knock him out as he hits the floor. Great for the guy who had a head injury. So we cut to some bar where we are introduced to Buck, who's down on his luck. Thankfully for him, he sees Nick on the news being interviewed while gurneying into his room, and coincidentally, Sandy is watching it at the exact same time.
Oh my god. There is so much stupid in that one scene, I don't even know where to start.
Why is she interviewing a guy on a gurney? Why is she interviewing someone she knows has amnesia? How is Sandy getting this signal from a random news station in California when she's at the North Pole? How lucky that they're both watching it at the same time? Wow, that's dumb. She tries to work the mirror. Feel Nick should have explained that in case of emergencies. Luckily, he has a book that teaches how to use the Santa magic.
Who opens the book?
Ah!
Yeah, Ashley Williams is not bringing the effort she gave in the first one.
This is the keeper of the book. I feel he may have come in handy at points in the first film, but whatever. He tells her how to work the mirror magic, but he has a grave message.
Why this journey?
Nick went through the mirror and he got amnesia. So I've got to go find him, tell him that he's Santa Claus.
Dear, he'd never believe such a tale. And if his doubt should start to grow, the magic will no longer work.
Why?
So what should I do?
Protect him as best you can. Love him. But just don't tell him.
Oh, for Christmas sake. Buck arrives at the hospital and somehow breaks Nick out. Quite the security this hospital gives to an amnesia patient. He gives him a ticket to a train out of town as he goes to meet Sandy.
How you been?
Well,
what is it, Bobcat?
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, he always calls her Bobcat. I don't know why. Her name's not Kathy or Barbara. That would kind of make sense.
So Sandy asks him to help her. Why? She says he's a professional tracker, but he's still a criminal who constantly harasses you. Go to the police. Back with Nick, he's robbed by a young pickpocket, but realizing he has amnesia, says he'll help him. This is Ryan, played by Alexander Conti, and if his face looks familiar, it's because he would later go on to play Sport in Harriet the Spy Blog Wars.
I knew I would be seeing him again soon.
Ryan steals a wallet and this gets him chased by a police, so they run. He bumps into Sandy.
Oh, that's convenient.
But she loses sight of him because dumb. One of the reindeer finds Nick. How? Why? I really don't care. Something magic, I'm sure. Nick and Ryan go in a hideout, and there they find Henry. And since he's an old black guy, that means he's some kind of wise sage. Okay, so apparently Henry knew Nick's parents, and the building they're in is an old club, where a secret society is supposed to hold a Christmas Eve party held by Nick.
The Christmas Eve party. It all falls on you now, Nick. Let the walls talk you through it.
Talk me.
It's your past. It's your future. On Christmas Eve, all will be revealed.
Didn't this movie start with trying to get some reindeer to lose weight?
Santa finds Buddy the reindeer and sends him back home via the mirror, and Buck sees it. Mostly pointless as he just brings him back so he can help find Nick. Great, does she go and tell him she's his wife? Nope. I know the bookkeeper said not to tell him he's Santa, but why not tell him they're married? She even has a picture of them. I'm sure he'd believe her. After breaking Henry out of his home by locking his son-in-law in the garage,
I just don't know.
Buck steals the magic mirror stuff and Henry tries explaining to Nick about his parents. But
you're his love and he doesn't know you either.
But he has to come to it on his own. If we tell him straight out who he is, it could be destructive to Nick and the magic.
This is the most bullshit, contrived way to have a movie go on longer I've seen in years.
Alright, so somehow throwing this party might get him his memory back. The next 20 minutes or so are mostly boring. The only interesting thing is that Buck uses the magic to go to the North Pole, and Sandy finds out that the person she already knew was a bad guy is a bad guy. Not that she cares much after all. They have a party to throw. This movie is lame, and it turns out to be for nothing as no one shows up.
Turns out, as folks get older, some move on and others just lose the faith.
God, this is depressing, but at least Sandy finally tells him that she knows him.
Nick, I was once where you are right now. I had to believe, and now you have to believe.
Show him the picture, you idiot!
Well, I guess he didn't believe enough, so nothing happens. Again, this movie is just sad, which may have meant something if it wasn't so contrived and boring before this. After Nick leaves, Buck shows up and just straight up kidnaps Sandy.
Buck, you have magic stuff now. Why her? I'm not going to deny that Ashley Williams is a very beautiful woman, but there are a lot of beautiful women who you won't have to kidnap.
The other two find Nick, and I guess he believed enough because he can now open the portal again and regains his memory. They get to the North Pole just as Buck is about to leave on the sleigh with Sandy.
My old clients are gonna line up for a chance to bag one of these and mount their heads on the wall.
Okay, so during that segment that I skipped because it was boring, we saw that Buck put money in the magic bag and was able to multiply it. So Buck, buddy, you don't need get-rich-quick schemes. You have infinite money now.
Okay, so the first movie's climax included a car chase and teaching a reindeer to fly. What does this one give us?
Buddy, get the bag.
No, that's all right. Whoa. Oh, okay, here, have the bag. Whoa.
My disappointment knows no bounds.
Buck ends up in the same garage, gets knocked in the head with a bowling ball, which should have splattered his brains on the floor, but just gives him amnesia. They all make it back to the club along with Henry's daughter and her husband, who now see that Santa is real. But wait, something else is coming through the mirror.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, fuck off!
Yeah, Nick's parents show up. I don't care, movie. If you wanted me to care, you'd have been a better movie. I will give it this, it doesn't cop out by having more people show up. So I guess they resolve the whole reindeer being fat conflict, and Sandy finally tells Nick that she's pregnant, which, again, I guess 2 minutes in.
Merry Christmas to all!
And to all a good night!
Well, that sucked.
Again, the first movie wasn't great, but it was a simple little story with some charming leads and enough nice moments to get through some of the more dumb stuff. This, however, ups the contrived storytelling with an overly complex plot, dumb characters, a surprisingly mean-spirited tone, and very little charm to be found. There are a couple nice moments and a few chuckles, and the actors are really trying, but it's just not a very good movie, even for 50 cents. It's a perfect example of a sequel that was forced out because the first did well. So in conclusion, give the first one a watch if you can find it for cheap, don't even bother with the second if you find it for free.
Well, that ends reviews for 2023. I hope you all have a very happy holiday season. Check out my reviewers in the description box below, and I'll see you next week for my annual trilogy for end of the year videos. Thank you all for watching. See you next time. Bye.